Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, whenever you're watching this. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and if not, I hope it gets better from here. Let's just go ahead and dive right in. First and foremost, the channeled songs for today are Applause by Lady Gaga. And then we have What Do You Want From Me by Adam Lambert. That I was surprised to even get these two songs. I haven't heard them in so long, but those are the channeled songs for today. The synchronicities for today, numbers are 411, 0707, 444, 555, 777, 1818, 333, 911, 1919, 111, 222, 211, 432, 2332, and 1234. And other synchronicities include Leo, Gemini, a grandfather, feelings of fatigue, could have arthritis, Raven from the Teen Titans, and some inner teen healing. So those are the synchronicities for today. Hello, hi. So let me just put this over here, and let's get the dice and figure out what house and sign this reading will be in. Hi, hello everybody. Hello. First and foremost, we have the House of Health and Daily Routines. The House of Health and Daily Routines. So you could have just switched up some of your health goals. You could be working on losing weight or any other kind of health goal you have in mind. It could also just be you've changed your routine recently. And it looks like we have the fifth zodiac sign. So Leo. Interesting. Leo in the House of Health and Routine. So this could also include a little bit of self-care, including upping your self-confidence, so like affirmations and things of this nature. So let's just dive in a bit more. Hi, hello. Check in on the runes and get some more details. Leo in the House of Health and Daily Routines. This could also be things like doing more about our appearance as well. Yeah, because Leos are generally like very much, they like to be divas, they like to be star of a show, putting their best foot forward, changing your style as well. First and foremost with runes, we have Algis for protection. So some protection coming in around Wunjo, so our joy. It's that Leo energy right here. And then Gebo for gift. A gift of protection surrounding your joy. So, there could also, I said inner teen healing, so this could also stem around inner child healing. Because our inner child is, Leo is they're not the baby of the zodiac, but they represent the sun card, and on the sun card there's a child, so inner child stuff. Let's get some charms. Let's see what we got here. Looks like 4. We have the spotlight charm. So we're putting a spotlight on some things that are hidden in the dark. The clear quartz. The clear quartz charm, and that is usually for transmuting negative energies. This little conch. The conch it often reminds me of Aphrodite, right? Which is all about self-love. That's the deity of love, of romance, self-love, beauty as well. You could be someone who also lives near water or the ocean. You don't have to, but that kind of thing. And then we also have the key here, the little heart key. So the key to your heart as well. Interesting. So a gift of protection around joy in the House of Health and Daily Routines in the sign of Leo. Interesting. Let's tap into tarot and figure out what exactly is going on around this, because that's interesting to me. So, Hi everybody, hello! Hello everyone! Hello everybody who's here. Thank you for the follows, thank you for likes. I really appreciate you guys. I am pulling out my yes, no, maybe cards. Most of you are new, so the thing about me is you don't have to give me anything. I don't require anything from you. You don't even have to put your question in the chat as I do this collective reading for everybody here. You can think your question, and whatever the card comes out, whatever is on it, that is your answer, okay? You don't have to give me anything. You don't have to put your business on the internet. I'm very big about your private business staying private, okay? So, Spirit, what's going on with the collective regarding this gift of protection around their joy and their health and daily routines for cultivating more joy in their lives, a bit more self-love, a bit more optimism? Tell me more. Beep. What's happening with the collective, Spirit? What's happening? What's this about? What's happening? Oh, interesting. We had 3 cards fall out and they were all horizontal. That's interesting. At first I thought it might have been a user error, but nope. Spirit was big on, nope, this is relevant. Whenever I see horizontal cards, that tells me that that's our current energy. We go back and forth. Back and forth. So currently we are working on our happiness, right? We're working on our happiness, our fulfillment. This is the wish card, right? That Jupiter for our luck, our abundance. And this is our sacral chakra. So all around our creativity, that type of thing. So wishes coming true, realizing dreams, positivity, joy, optimism. So yeah, cultivating more optimism and joy within our lives. I just saw 2222. Hi, hello, hi. So alignment, trying to do that. Yeah, and foresight and action. So we're having a little bit of issues seeing it. So it may be a bit hard for us to call that in. We're currently in a... yeah, we don't really have any plans. We're just kind of figuring it out as we go. Yeah, forward planning, self-confidence. That may be a really difficult thing for us. And we seem to run into some blockages here around action. Yeah, so hemming and hawing on this. Hemming and hawing. Thank you for the follows and the likes. So this is where we're currently at. So we're trying to cultivate this happiness, but we may be having a bit of a hard time and facing some difficulties here. Okay, no problem. No problem. Now, since that was all sideways, that doesn't really answer a question, so let's see what we can get. Let's see. Tell me more on what's going on with the collective. So again, if you're new here, I'm not a person you don't need to give me anything. You don't even have to put your question in the chat. Your personal business is yours. Okay? You think the question, and as I'm doing this collective reading, whatever card comes out, that's your answer, alright? You don't gotta give me anything. I'm really big on people need to keep their business to themselves. If you had a yes/no question, your answer is yes. Okay? Yes, it is. That's your answer right there. Especially if you are actively working towards a goal. Seeing this little magician here means it's a yes. You're gonna call it and it's gonna happen. Okay? But yeah, I can see that you're actively cultivating this happiness. You're trying to make it come through. It's been a difficult ride. You don't really know what you're doing, and we have faced some obstacles, but you are actively working on it. Because it says, I have all the resources I need, inner and outer. So you can see right there what that is, right? It's all about creativity, action, your own power, all that type of stuff. No, I do not do free questions. That's not how I roll. This is a collective reading. The only compromise I do have is that if you have a yes, no, you just think it, and as I go through this collective reading, that'll be your answer, okay? That's it. Okay. We also have the 7 of Cups, as well as the 9 of Wands in the reversed. Thank you. I hope you have a good night too. So, we have a lot of options. That can be why it's a bit hard to plan, because it seems like to call this in, we may be going through and listening to a whole bunch of different options on how to make this happen. This would be like, in order to bring in more self-confidence, you would go and listen to a ton of subliminals, a ton of affirmations, looking at advice from other people on how to cultivate more confidence, that type of thing, how to be more optimistic. It just seems like we have a lot of choices. Okay, if you had a yes/no question, your answer is no, right? That's 2 no's right here, 2 no's. And we are, so yeah, this could be a little bit stubborn at the same time. A little bit stubborn. It's like we want it to work, but we're a little stubborn as well. That's kind of why we're running into some obstacles here. Nothing wrong with that. We're still learning. Nothing wrong with that at all. Tell me more, Spirit. Tell me more. Yeah, because today I was feeling super tired. It's just like worn out. This could be, you could be someone who, it's not for everyone here, it's for who it's for. There is somebody here who has like chronic illness, chronic fatigue. So it may be hard for you to cultivate that confidence. Yeah. And you're trying to, you might be looking for advice, but all the advice seems exhausting. I would recommend the spoon theory instead. Yes, we have the moon card and we have the hanged man in reversed. So there is a perspective shift that needs to happen. It's time for a sacred pause. Stillness grants perspective. Yeah, apathy, discontentment, stagnation, impulsiveness, detachment. And then we have the moon here as well. If you had a yes/no question, we have no. There's a yes and there's a no. So what that's telling me is that you may need to pay attention, especially if it's something that is hidden in the dark. So it's like trying to figure out somebody's motives. Make sure you're paying close attention and you're not just jumping straight to conclusions, okay? Yeah. So we have, the path may not be clear, but my intuition lights the way one step at a time. Yeah, so it's like I said, we're trying to bring that in. There's a lot of options. We're a little bit like, we're in this like rigidity around it. So we might be going about it in a very rigid way, when it doesn't really need to be that difficult. Yeah, intuition, illusion, like it's okay to kind of feel it out as you go. But yeah, we have some kind of anxiety here around it. One second. Go ask Daddy, okay? Go ask Daddy. Thank you. Yeah, a little bit of discontentment, stagnation, deception, anxiety, fear, misconception, subconscious, insecurity. Insecurity here as well. Yeah, this may be why we keep running into these blocks, because we have some kind of insecurity around this. So we may feel like we're missing something and that we have to go chase it in order to bring that happiness into our life. It's like trying to fill the void, so to speak. Tell me more, Spirit. The Four of Swords, more of this fear and anxiety. Another no. Hello, thank you for the follow. Another no here, rest is needed. Yeah, so whoever's feeling really tired, there's some kind of mental overload and overwhelm, and you might just need a pause. Like, instead of feeling like you have to change, oh, this would be someone who wants to bring more confidence into their life, but they overbook themselves. Yeah. So it's like, I want to be the it guy, the it girl, so I'm trying to change my entire life over in 1 month, and that's exhausting. Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to follow all this advice, but I haven't quite figured out what my my personal routine is. And it's a bit crushing because it's like, how can someone live such an exhausting life and be like happy and have their life together? Yeah, well, because you don't, it's like, I see it all the time. It's called the lock-in, the great winter lock-in and all of that. And they tell you you can change your whole life in 30 days. But then your schedule consists of like 50 different changes that you all have to implement within a month, which is exhausting and doesn't really account for the fact that you're a human. You know? It's kind of giving some of that as well. It's like, okay, in order for me to feel confident, in order for me to be happy, I need to live like this, instead of just getting to the root issue of why do you feel like you're not good enough in the first place. Thank you for the follows. Tell me more. And yeah, there's too much advice. Thank you. Too much advice going around telling you what you should be doing in order to be confident. Hi. I was like, you have the right idea. You do want to cultivate this confidence, this optimism, but we're kind of going about it in a really chaotic way. Yes, a very chaotic way. Tell me more, Spirit. Yeah, I see a lot of flippers in here as well. You guys don't have to put your questions in the chat. I prefer you guys keep your personal business yours. You can think your question. You don't have to give me anything. As I'm continuing this collective read, whatever card I pull, that's your answer, okay? That's it. That's all you gotta do. Think it, and it'll come out. I promise. Yep, one just came out. Oh, well, it's a yes, no, maybe. See? Oh, let me cover them. They're naked. Yes, no. I know, no one likes that, okay? No one likes the yes, no, but that's literally the card I got. It's the Lover's card. My personal value system lead me to love. A lot of people see this. This is not a romantic read, right? Because it's all about the house of health and daily routines, right? So, major choices. Hi! Whenever I see the Lover's card and it's not in a Lover's read, it's all about balancing our masculine and feminine energies. So it's about balancing our ambitious go-getter energy versus our gentle, nurturing side. The ambitious go, 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 make things happen. I have to... like they are very ambitious. It's definitely the CEO vibes versus the just having a soft life and just being here and enjoying the ride. You know, you see how in the masculine side the tree is on fire behind him and he's over here looking at the feminine, right? While the feminine is over here with this beautiful green tree and she's looking up at the divine. More intuitive nature, getting messages from intuition, following the heart, following the intuitive space. Versus the masculine side, which is more 3D, practical, grounded, looking towards the intuition for any extra hints. Yes, the feminine side is a bit more receiving, passive, and the masculine side is more of the giving and like, yeah, they go out and they get it, basically. So yeah, major choices here. This is definitely big changes of balancing of these two energies. How do I get more confident and optimistic in myself, build and cultivate this confidence while without burning out and while still embracing a softer life? Thank you for the follows, everybody. Again, you don't have to put your personal business out there on the internet. As I pull, you will get your answer. The answer is yes. If you had a yes/no question, the answer is yes. I apologize to anybody that did not want to hear yes, but your answer is yes. That's 2 of them, okay? Yeah, we're getting more into the Queen of Cups. So someone who deeply feels things, someone who has a lot of empathy. Yes. Thank you for the follows. And yeah, a lot of inspiration. So someone who's trying to make these changes because they're very inspired. We're seeing things and they're bringing us that motivation and that inspiration to make these changes. Yeah, I want to be more optimistic. I want to be more courageous, more energetic, just a lot. Yeah, I want more with my life. And instead of being in comparison mode, we're actually being inspired and trying to apply that to our lives. That's actually super great. That's beautiful. I want more in my life, and I'm trying to figure out how to do it. How do I do that? Let's see. What else, Spirit? Someone here might have a sore throat. Drink some tea with honey in it, that will help. Because I just got that out of nowhere. Tell me more on what's going on with the collective. 2. Yeah, making plans towards our happiness. If you had a yes, no question, we have a maybe and we have a yes. So if it's regarding making plans, it's a maybe. If it's regarding a romantic situation, then it's a yes, okay? So we have 2 paths: decisions, options, planning. So yeah, trying to make those plans. Trying to make plans in order to bring about our happiness. Stability, security, harmony, abundance. So yeah, it's like we get inspired, so we make some plans. We go, okay, I'm gonna make this happen. I'm gonna cultivate my happiness. Hello, hi. I'm going to bring this in. I want to make these changes, so I'm going to make these changes. I'm gonna make these plans. I'm gonna fill out my planner or my, on my phone or whatever it is. Good night. And I'm going to try to do it. I'm going to try to make this happen. But again, I got that tired feeling of like we might be overwhelmed by all the options out there. We may not have found the plan that works for us yet, and maybe we might just be really tired. Hi, Sharon. Tell me more. Thank you for the likes and the follows. I really appreciate it, you guys. Tell me more, Spirit, on what's going on with them regarding the House of Health and Routines. I just noticed that popped over to 11 for Aquarius. Interesting. It was on Leo, and then it moved over to Aquarius. So it's like trying to cultivate that like humanitarian energy, that fame, as well as that optimism. Oh my gosh, hi R! Friend, I did see that you asked that question. I do personal readings at the link in my bio. I don't do them on live. Your personal business should remain yours. I don't believe in putting people's business out there for everybody to see. So let's see. I know, I see you every time. There's that Leo again. Yeah, we're running into an issue with some vulnerability and self-doubt at this time. That's where we're at, right? And there's that Leo. There's that Leo right there. Yeah, we're listening to this little beastie here, this little beastie inside of us that's like, it's those little inner voices that's like, okay, well, you're not really meeting your plans. These big overarching plans that we made, we're not meeting them, which means clearly we're broken. Thank you for the likes. Yeah, clearly we're the problem here. No. Most of the time, it's not really you that's the problem, right? It's not that you're incapable of sticking to the routine, to the plan. It's that the routine or the plan doesn't account for the fact that, you're not the exact same human that made that plan. It's not fit to your life. You're trying to fit everything around it, when it should be the complete opposite. Like if you're trying to cultivate more self-confidence, instead of trying to change every single thing about your life, we should start with why you don't feel confident in the first place, and start with things like affirmations, right? Instead of being like, okay, well, in order to feel more confident, I have to go to the gym at 5 a.m. I have to have smoothies. I have to do Pilates. I have to do yoga. I have to journal every day. I have to also have a social life. And like now you've made like 20 different changes in one day. You're like, okay, and by the time I'm done, after 30 days, I'll magically be happy. No. We never addressed it. We never addressed the root, the issue of why you don't feel confident in the first place. If we don't address that part, changing your whole life around isn't really going to fix it, you know? And that's why you're tired and you feel like you're not really worth it, because now you're like, well, I haven't magically become happy, so I'm the problem. No, silly. Tell me more on what's going on with the collective regarding their health and daily routines. Yeah, and if you're on a weight loss journey, this would be like, okay, I hit a plateau and I'm not seeing the results I want, so I'm kind of wondering if this is even worth it. Oh no. Oh no, R. I mean, I love to see that. I love to see my longtime followers and supporters in here, but I'm also like, oh dear. Thank you. Yeah, folding on your beliefs, giving in, admitting defeat, feeling overwhelmed. That's where we're at right now. If you had a yes/no question, your answer is no. All right. Don't let that discourage you, okay? That's just the current little snapshot energy. You're the author of your own life. It can change. It can change. That's just the current moment in time, okay? Don't let that discourage you from what you're doing, especially since this is all about confidence, all right? Please. Okay? So, yeah, we are currently running into that little lion back here telling us all the reasons why we aren't really good enough. Because we're not hitting the results. We made these plans around our motivations and like trying to cultivate that confidence, and we've hit a snag. We've hit a snag, and it's the reason you hit the snag is because you actively are trying to build this confidence. You're trying to build this optimism and happiness. And as you're working through it, these hiccups are here. They're designed to bring those parts of you that need healing up in order for you to heal that part, which will then transmute that negative energy that you have around that and turn it into the thing you want, that confidence and that optimism. That's literally the whole point of the process. What else about the collective at this time? So yes, you're gonna have moments where you go back and forth. You might go back a few steps, you might mess up a little bit. That's fine. That's part of the process. It's literally, the whole point is you're transmuting it in order to heal the actual root of the problem. And again, if you're new here, when I have the yes/no cards out, you don't have to give me anything. You do not have to put your question in the chat. Your business should remain yours. You think it, and I pull the card, okay? You think it, and as I do this whole collective reading, I pull the card, and that's your answer, okay? I don't want to know your business, and I don't want you to put your business out there. Okay. And I'm also, I don't know why they come up in here. Don't give your money to scammers, okay? They're always popping up here in my lives. If anybody ever messages you telling you, send me a message in order to get this thing, if a tarot reader DMs you and is like, I caught your energy and I wanted to give you a free reading, it's a scam, okay? Thank you. Anybody who does tarot reading expects you to come to them. We don't come to you. Okay, tell me more. I know, the only mod I currently have. Just got a job that is the complete opposite schedule of me. So yes, so if you had a yes no question, your answer is no. I do apologize. Thank you friend. So we have that Five of Swords. Tension. This is, like I said, these things that come up as you're trying to cultivate this self-confidence, this optimism, they're part of your ego. They came from people who lied to you and told you that you did not deserve things. Yeah. So this is part of the ego. This is part of the self that was cultivated, saying, you can't be confident. That makes you full of yourself. That makes you vain. Yeah, no, listen, you should never, ever, if any reader ever messages you saying, I was drawn to your energy, or I'm confused, or like they say anything to you at all, honestly, if I ever show up in your inbox, it's not me. I am such an introvert. I don't message people. Okay, most tarot readers don't. No, we like being in our own little energy bubble. We come on here because we're told we have to. To help people, and anybody who messages you saying, I'm gonna give you a reading for free, it's a scam. If they're gonna give you bullshit, they really are, I promise. They're gonna tell you everything you want to hear, and it's gonna be complete crap. Yeah. Okay, we have a horizontal here. So this Page of Cups, yeah, we're trying to get back into this whimsy. Okay? Trying to get back into this little bit of whimsy, this intuition, playfulness, imaginative energy. Yeah, learning about emotional issues. So yeah, this part of the ego came from childhood, because this is a page, and a page is very young energy, okay? I'm gonna do 2 more and then move to the next part. Thank you for the follows and the likes. I really appreciate it, you guys. Tell me more about what is going on with the collective at this time regarding their... Thank you, Spirit. Sorry, I just noticed this. It's a lack of motivation as well. Hello, I'm doing well. How are you? So because we're trying to tap into this and we're dealing with issues with the ego popping up while we're working on cultivating that, it causes lack of motivation. Right? And you can read it right there. If you had a yes no question, by the way, your answer is no. Yeah, it's like hesitant, missed opportunities, wasted potential. It's lack of motivation. So every time this comes up, it makes you feel unmotivated to continue making these changes. Because it's not fun to confront your shadow. It's not fun to have those old voices of the past now talking in your voice, kind of kicking you while you're down. They're the ones who would be like, yes, because you're not adhering to this schedule perfectly, you're a failure. I was like, whoa, hold on. Whoa, it's usually the very extreme voice too. It's like 0 to 100. Like, no, I messed up. You can mess up one day, you can mess up a whole week, and that's perfectly fine. As long as you continue to get up and try, you're still going to achieve what you're trying to achieve. 2, 3, 4, yes. Like, you're already on the path. You're doing what you're supposed to be doing, and hitting a snag does not mean you're failing. It means that there's a lesson here. There's something coming up, that frustration that you feel, the feeling like, oh, this isn't gonna work, you know, oh, maybe I should just give in and start over and all that stuff. No, those are being brought up for you to heal, to work through. Yeah, that would make sense. Like I said, I also had this feeling of being super tired. Feeling super tired. Like, I was tired. I was like, man, I got enough sleep, but I feel tired. I don't want to get on today. And I was like, no. I should be here. Tell me more, Spirit. Because I said my plan this year, when I was doing my own planning, right? Because I follow the PRS planning method. My whole theme this year was follow your plan, not your mood, you know? Because I've always followed my mood and not the plan, and that's gotten me nowhere. So I'm doing the opposite. Still remembering my mood and remembering I have emotions, but you know, yeah. But remembering to just continue following the plan. Oh my gosh, thank you, Destiny. Goodness gracious, thank you. Alright, Spirit, 2 more. Oh, I see the 2. Okay, thank you. That was quick. We have the World card. So yes, you are working on breaking that cycle. If you had a yes/no question, your answer is yes. I'm sorry if that's not what you want to hear. Unless it revolves around money, then the answer is no, okay? If it revolves around taking your power back or anything not related to money, then the answer is yes. But if it's related to money, it's no. It's like a yes, but maybe, you know? So this is what I've been working for is already done. Success, achievement, accomplishment, sense of belonging. So it's like reaching your goal. You can see it all right here, okay? I'm not BSing you, okay? Exactly. You control it, okay? But we have these times where we hit the little bumps in the road, the delays, right? And we're not seeing the results that we're looking for, and that puts us in our head feeling a bit in the dumps about it, right? Feeling like, is this even worth it? It is. You're doing just fine. These delays are here to help you heal that wound, okay? And yeah, even if, lack of planning, even if we don't necessarily have it all figured out, even if we don't have it planned out, that's fine. Yeah, delayed success. So it may not be coming as fast as you wanted, but it's still on its way, okay? Yes. So, I'm going to put away my yes/no cards. I will not be doing any more yes/nos. And I'm going to move to, we've got our what. Let's move into why you even need to hear this today. So, I'm feeling Marigold. We're tapping into inner teen, inner child. So, shadow work deck feels important. I've already put away my yes/no card, so I will not be answering that. Although you already asked that question and already got a yes. So, yes. Oh, goodness. Okay, so why do you even need to hear this? Why do we need to hear this at this time, Spirit? The devil, like I said, because we're going back and forth towards the ego. Oh boy. Again, I already said, if people are telling you to message them, it's a scam, okay? It's a scam. Anyway, so yeah, we have that going on. Yeah, we may be hearing, oh, this makes sense for the 7 of Cups as well. It's like we're hearing all these options on how to increase your confidence, how to bring that optimism into your life. And there are people out there who are just taking you for a ride. So it can be, yeah, it would be like when, you know, when everybody was doing the ashwagandha thing and they were touting it as like the biggest weight loss thing ever. And a lot of people took it and it just turned out to be just another regular supplement type of deal. So it didn't really do what it was supposed to. It's that kind of thing. It's like it's general, really vague advice that doesn't really help, you know? So again, you need to hear this because of, you know, the devil card. It means that we have some self-sabotaging behaviors here. This cycle of whenever I meet a delay in my plans, whenever I don't feel like I'm getting the results, I want to jump ship. That's self-sabotage, right? And then we go look for the quicker path, of someone who's offering us, oh yes, if you just do it this way, you'll do it within a month, without even having to address the root issue, right? So we kind of just skip straight over to that, and then when it doesn't work out, we go back to square one. It's a self-sabotage cycle. Why else do they need to hear this at this time? Yeah. This could also stem from people around you too, because I'm getting a feeling of like chaotic people saying stuff, more of that whispering. The Hermit in the sideways. Whenever I see cards horizontal in a reading, that tells me we're going back and forth. So we also have this looking within, shining that spotlight on things, right? This little spotlight charm, shining a spotlight on those darker parts of ourselves in order to heal them. Spending time by ourselves in order to do this, however you can spend time by yourself, versus being around too many people or over isolating. Yeah, so it's like being around the kind of people who give you the bad advice, and then whenever stuff doesn't work out because we listen to them, we over isolate, which makes things worse, instead of looking within and figuring out why we have that issue in the first place. Yeah. Like the answer is already within yourself. You don't really need to go out and find it, you know? Thank you for the likes. Thank you. Thank you, Spirit. I'm not coming. Yeah, and we feel, whoa, goodness gracious. We feel like we don't have any luck. We don't feel like it's working. Yeah, it feels like bad luck. Yes, I also love this deck. It's so pretty. I think of it as the shadow work deck. It is so good. Yeah, we feel like we don't have any good luck. Even though we're putting in this effort, we're not seeing the results we want, and we're getting in that self-sabotage habit. Right? It's not working. Yeah, it is. It's just not working as fast as you want it to. Which, like, I'm not trying to say, like, in a dismissive way, but we're expecting it to happen faster. And the Ace of Cups as well, in the reversed. So that's also, like, not really acknowledging our emotions around it either. Yeah, I feel like it's not really working out. I feel like I have bad luck with it. Things aren't, like, I feel a type of way about it, but I'm ignoring how I feel about it. I'm not trying to get creative with it either. So instead of trying to be adaptable and, yeah, I know, and changing things up, adjusting it in order to fit where the issue is, I am trying to rigidly stick to it. Thank you for the roses. Yeah. This is really giving, like, I'm trying to follow this very specific health regimen or routine, and it's not working for me. And instead of just tweaking it to fit my life, I'm trying to fit it. You know? Like, maybe you're not a 5 a.m. person, but you're trying to force yourself to be a 5 a.m. person when 7 a.m. works just as fine. Yeah, the 8 of Swords in reverse, though. So it's like we're also trying to leave behind the mental prison. The mental prison? The little mental cage that we put ourselves in. Because the swords represent thoughts and words. The things we speak, the things we think. And it's around this little tooth here. So specifically, our thoughts surrounding how we talk. So perhaps, like I said, we're trying to bring more self-confidence in, more optimism. We might be working on saying nicer things to ourselves, being more positive towards ourselves in the mirror, or just speaking more positive into our life. But we're hitting those little snags in the meantime. And that's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Hitting obstacles on that journey doesn't mean you're failing, okay? Even if that little voice on the inside, that little inner bully, our little parasite, is like, oh, You're just never going to succeed. This is all your fault. See, you failed again. No, no, no. Tell it to shut up. That's somebody else's words coming at you in your own voice. Yeah, that is so this leads you back to that repeating cycle of self-sabotage. Okay? Yes. It's like we're trying to leave that little mind prison, but we're having a difficult time. Every time we run into a hiccup, we think that we're unable to do it. We think that life is just going to forever be hard, and then we go back to square one. Totally fine. Like I said, every time you hit these obstacles, they're not telling you you're failing. That's part of the process. That's telling you that this is a wound that needs to be addressed. It needs to be transmuted and then turned into positive so that you can then continue forward. 8 of Cups in reverse. Yeah, it's like a mindset that we aren't leaving behind. The 8 of Cups is all about leaving something behind that we've put a lot of time, effort, and energy into, but we're not doing that. So yeah, we're still we're fighting that a little bit of like, I can't have any hiccups on the journey or else I fail. A very extreme thinking. 7 of Pentacles in reverse. Yeah, like looking at it and not really being satisfied with the results. So we start engaging back in the self-sabotage behavior. That's why we need to hear this. Thank you for the follows. I don't know what it is about today, but apparently there's a lot of you in here working on building your confidence. Thank you. Which is totally fair. Thank you so much. Oh my goodness. Totally fair. Everybody can use a bit more optimism in their life. Yes, we're working on leaving behind the victim mindset. So the universe is picking on me mindset. I'm being bullied by the universe. I'm feeling left out, like I can't quite get what I'm looking for. Yes. We're working on that right now, because as I said earlier, horizontal cards represent we go back and forth between these energies, and we're currently working on this specific part. Thank you. Yeah, but we're being a little, this is when we start getting reckless. The Knight of Wands is especially in the reversed, it's someone who is super reckless. They're very impulsive, they're very hasty. So this is like every time I hit a snag, I get restless, I get impulsive. Now, oh, it's not working, so I'm gonna pivot over to this instead of just tweaking stuff. It's like, oh, I'm gonna go do this new thing, and then this new thing, and then this new thing. So we kind of end up just sabotaging all our efforts. And again, that doesn't make you broken or bad or evil, right? Just that we need to have a little bit more, like, a bit more recognition in realizing that obstacles does not equate to failure. Thank you for the likes. Thank you guys. I love the Knight crowd. They're great. I'm a little biased because I'm a Knight person, but y'all are always great. We have the 6 of Cups here too. That inner child healing. I'm telling you, man. There's like, we want to get back to that optimism of when we were younger. Things feel too heavy. We're too tired. I want to go back to just being like, I get up, I wake up in the morning, and life is an adventure again. I'm having a good time. I'm not worried about a lot of things. But I feel like I can't quite grasp it. Thank you. Yeah, the Leo! There it is again! The Sun. I want that happiness. I want that innocence, that excitement for life, and I feel like it's not working. Yes, it is. You hit the snag, your parasite's talking to you, your little inner bully is talking to you, and the whole point of that is in order to talk back. Say, okay, This is clearly the wound we have here. That's when you start asking questions. When it's like, okay, clearly we failed. You're like, but why does that make me a failure? What about this makes me a failure? Why do I feel like I can't ever make a mistake? I can't ever have an off day. Why am I so obsessed with perfection? Where did I learn that from? You know? Yeah, the Ten of Swords. It's like getting rid of we're trying to get rid of the cycle of self-abandonment, our self-betrayals, right? There's that go, I need to be perfect or else I'm bad. I can't make mistakes. If I don't get it right the first time, then I'm not capable, you know? I want to let go of all these, this like never-ending feeling of misinformation, of lying to ourselves, being surrounded by misinformation and lies, saying you have to be this way in order to be confident. But if you follow that schedule, it doesn't magically heal all of your wounds, you know? Thank you for the gifts. Oh my goodness. What the heck? Period. Why else? Spirit, thank you. Another horizontal. Yeah, working on, oh my god, the Queen of Wands. Working on feeling like we're in our power. Right? I'm not doing personals at this time. I don't do personals. Your business should stay your business, okay? This is a collective reading. The Queen of Wands is all about being in your power. She's the manifestation queen. She's very optimistic. She's very in touch with her intuition. She goes forth with passion, desire, motivation, and she brings stuff forward out of thin air, right? She's attractive, she's confident, like she's the life of the party. That's who the Queen of Wands is, right? We're currently here. We're trying to get back into our own power. A lot of times we feel like we're in here, so having people put their own opinions down our throat, even though no one asked. This is what confidence should look like. Yeah, you're not confident, you're not successful, you're not this, you're not that. And it's like, oh, well, am I? Is that true? Should I be? You know, confidence means you're self-absorbed and vain and, yeah, like that kind of thing. No. There's nothing wrong with believing in yourself. Yeah, it's like there's a difference, right? An unhealed Leo would be extremely self-absorbed. They would be the kind who has to tell everybody else that they're ugly in order to feel pretty, needs to be in the spotlight 24/7, that type of thing. But a healed Leo is everybody's cheerleader, including their own. Like, they're confident in themselves and they build other people up. You know, they're absolute blast to be around. They're like the sun. They make everybody happy, including themselves. So there's nothing wrong with being self-confident. There's nothing wrong with liking yourself. You don't gotta be perfect. You're fine as you are. Yeah, it feels unfair. Because we're not there, it doesn't feel fair. It doesn't feel fair at all. Yeah, so yeah, we're having some big feelings. Big feelings. It's not working yet, so it feels unfair. Why don't I feel confident? Even though I'm putting in all this work, why am I not feeling it yet? Why have I not succeeded yet? Why am I not seeing results? Because we're working on a perspective shift. We are rigidly hanging on to this specific method and trying to make ourselves fit that, trying to fit ourselves into, it's like trying to fit a it's like trying to fit a square peg into a triangle hole, you know? It's like, you don't need to do that. There's a perfectly good triangle one that will fit there, and that's perfectly fine. Why are you trying to be a square if you're a triangle? Yeah, because someone told you should be. Someone out there said in order to be good at life, in order to be successful, you had to be a triangle, or you had to be a square. We're like, what? Hello, hi. Even though that's not really relevant. Like, last one for why you need to hear this at this time. I was like, I get it. We're feeling a type of way. Thank you for the likes, everybody. Oh, looks like you got 2. And comparisons here. So earlier I said that we were feeling inspired, but there are times where we get into comparison. We get into comparison and we don't want to work with ourselves, and we don't want to work with our plans or anybody else's plans. Yep. Or we could have been told this from people who were jealous of us and didn't want to work with us, so they tried to squash our light and make us feel like we weren't confident. It's both of those. So, yeah, and that's what we're working on, is shining a light on that. Right? Shining a light on the things hidden in the dark that we don't necessarily want to look at. Yep. So we have our what, we have our why. Let's get into what you even need to do about it, though. What do we need to do about it? So I can tell you what, I can tell you why, but those are vague. We want to know what to even do about it. We got this frustration, we got this feeling like, oh, maybe I should just start over, maybe I should just pivot. Thank you for the follows. And Spirit's saying, no, we're just having this is part of the process. These wounds are coming up to be healed, and we're having a lot of big feelings, and this is it's right before you start that same repeating cycle. So thank you for the follow. They don't want you to do that, but what do they want you to do? I'm not answering personal questions at this time. What do you want them to do about it, Spirit? What should they do about it? I've already put away my yes-no cards, so I will not be doing any more yes-nos. And this is a collective, not a personal. I see the 7 of Cups here, which we saw earlier. Where'd that go? In the reverse. So I'm gonna look at it. Reality, clarity, sobriety, poor choices, lack of choice, opportunities, or options. So we need to get clear on things. There's some clarity needed, right? Because we've spent a lot of time going after the shiny thing that's promising to take us where we want to go, when there's a whole predator in the background, right? The thing that makes it to where we kind of feel silly for picking what we picked. We need to get a bit more clear on things. So like I said, if you're feeling like you're not confident enough in life, or that you're not happy enough, we need to address the root problem and not just try to overhaul our entire life and hope that by doing that will magically call forth those feelings. Yeah, because there are plenty of people who have everything you could ever want, all the money, they have the good looks, they have the tons of people around them, but they're deeply unhappy with their lives and they're not confident. So that's not going to make you suddenly become those things. It's addressing the inner part that's causing that issue. What else do we need to do about it at this time, Spirit? Thank you. So we need to stop being so critical of ourselves. We need to stop judging ourselves so damn hard, okay? Way too judgmental. Every time you get a hiccup, you've decided you fail already. No, that's not how that works, okay? We need to get a bit more curious and start doing a little bit more research. Okay, this isn't quite working, but how can I make this fit my life? Right? Because again, this is the house of health and daily routines. So if the routine is not working, that means that it's not fitting your life, which means you need to tweak it a little bit to fit your life, to fit you as a person. Yes, you're trying to make changes in order to achieve a certain result you're looking for, but that doesn't mean that you have to stick to it rigidly. You have to figure out where you begin and where your goal ends, okay? So like, I want to be more confident. Okay. So in order to be more confident, I'm going to start telling myself affirmations. Let's just say every day I'm going to say affirmations for about 5 minutes. And that doesn't seem to be working, right? It doesn't mean that you shouldn't be using affirmations. You might be using affirmations that don't really sit with you. So perhaps we look at other affirmations, or perhaps we're just 5 minutes is too long. Maybe you need about 3 minutes, you know? Like it's just small adjustments. It's not scrap the whole plan. You know what I mean? Or maybe affirmations just are not your jam. They don't feel right. So perhaps it would be time to try subliminals. I don't know. But like, just figuring out what actually works that you'll actually commit to and be disciplined in, that's sustainable in the long run. What else do I need to do about it at this time? Oh gosh, yeah, especially if you're trying to do weight loss, right? If you're sticking to a really rigid diet that you are miserable in, it may be time to rethink the diet, but not necessarily just drop the whole thing and go back to eating the way we were when we considered changing our eating habits, you know? But yeah, not feeling that shame and guilt either, because that spurs that repeating cycle. We just end up in that loop. Thank you, Spirit. Yeah, remembering where we're overgiving, right? So doing those routines that are like, you need to get up at 4 a.m. and you need to do Pilates and you need to do juice and you need to do this and you need to do that, and by 3 p.m. you are exhausted. You know, like it would just be better to figure out what actually works for you. If you're not a morning person, don't force yourself to be a morning person. There's no point. You're not going to magically be more successful because you wake up at 4 a.m. now. If you're someone who has a ton of energy at 6 p.m., that's totally fine. Be a night person. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, if you want to be more productive, put your tasks where you have the most energy. That's where you should put it. Not following somebody else's schedule just because that's what is considered the successful version. You know what I mean? Tell me more, Spirit, on what they need to do at this time regarding this. Thank you. Yeah, rebuilding the foundation here. Because it's shaky. We could have come from a foundation that didn't necessarily teach us these habits. Ooh, especially with the algae's room here for protection. So it may be in the past, we didn't necessarily learn these types of healthy habits. We didn't necessarily learn how to cultivate our own confidence. We didn't see good examples of someone being kind to themselves, being confident within themselves. So we're not sure how to do that for ourselves, right? So we have a tendency to overgive, to not have boundaries, to kind of push ourselves to the limit and then get mad and blame ourselves when we don't meet our goal. You know what I mean? Like, we learned that from somebody else and we're repeating it. So they're just letting you know, they're like, hey, whenever we get those little obstacles that tell us we have to start all over again, you're repeating that cycle. Tell me more on what they should do at this time regarding this. Thank you. Yeah, leave that mental prison behind. All it does is get you tangled up and going nowhere. Okay? Leave it behind. You don't gotta hold on to that. Yeah, you're keeping yourself in your little mental prison every time that you start thinking that the hiccups are you failing. What else, Spirit? Real quick, I gotta do something real fast. Make sure the live doesn't disconnect. Okay. What else? It's okay if it takes more time than you thought. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not a race. It's a marathon. Yeah, get back into... Yeah, so get back into this. So whenever we run into those obstacles, get creative, okay? Start getting creative, thinking about how can I make this fit my life, and not how can my life fit it. Alright? So getting a bit more creative, coming up with things, trying out adjustments, not just scrapping the whole plan. And yes, not worrying about the inner conflict, okay? Whenever you get that conflict, that's old wounds, again, coming to be transmuted. They're coming to be taken a look at and addressed. Not for you to simmer in and cause you to drop the whole thing. This is sideways for the Ace of Pentacles. I saw it earlier. Yeah, there it is. So again, that's that transitionary energy. So currently, they're also asking you to, manifestation, grounding is very important. So remember to go into your body, not always up here in our head. Build that strong foundation. Yes. And don't be worried about it not coming in super fast, okay? That's not the whole point. It doesn't matter how quickly it comes in, it'll still come in, okay? We don't need to be worried about the timeline. Because the faster it comes, the faster it goes, you know? Because imagine, if you woke up tomorrow and you had your dream body or your dream personality, but you had none of the wisdom or the discipline to keep it around, it would be gone immediately. If you didn't know how to maintain that body or that mindset, you would lose it. The whole point of this journey is to build those lessons, to build that wisdom, so that when you do achieve it, it stays, it sticks, doesn't go anywhere. Okay, so even though it sucks going through the challenges, it sucks going through those moments, they're important lessons to help you be able to keep it when you do succeed. So that was me. Spirit, tell me more on what they need to do at this time regarding the situation. My goodness, so many people here today. Hello. Hello, my children of the night, my denizens of the dark. My fellow night folks. Thank you, Spirit. Yeah, the Knight of Swords. So instead of just charging in all like motivation, all inspiration, no plan, this is the planning part. Now, the Knight of Swords is the second fastest knight in the deck, so he also tends to be charging in faster than he should, but it's just a call that when we're trying to call this in, right, to have plans in place and not just kind of wing it. So when we run into, so for example, it would be like, okay, every time I meet an obstacle, what am I gonna do in order to keep myself motivated, right? Because motivation is a very fleeting thing. You want to build the discipline instead. So anytime I'm feeling low, say it's I want to be able to work out consistently, I want to embrace more movement, but I suffer with chronic fatigue, for example. Looking into the spoon theory and going, okay, on low energy days, when I'm not feeling well, when I'm having those flare-ups, what can I do to bring the movement in? Even if it's just 10 minutes, what can I do? And do that. And you're still going towards your goal without putting yourself in the shame guilt loop, and without it's basically trying to keep you from getting into the shame guilt loop that makes us more susceptible to throwing our whole goal out the window. Because it's like, I'm still making progress even on my low energy days. And even if I can't, even if I'm so exhausted that I can't even get out of bed, that's fine. That's fine. It's okay to be tired, it's okay to take a break, it's okay to rest. We need it. We need to rest. We're not robots, we're humans. Sometimes we just need to take a break. It's fine. What else do they need to do at this time, Spirit? Thank you. Yeah, temperance, balance it out. Yes, you see all those screaming voices in the background? The voices of before who were like, yo, you'll never get it, you can't do it, there's no way, you're not that confident, yada yada yada. No, we need to quiet them down so that even our inner devil, even our inner shadow is on board. You know, quiet it down. Quiet it down. Yeah, instead of being like, I made this mistake, therefore I'm a failure. It's like, no, I made a mistake. That doesn't make me a failure. Failing is never starting in the first place. You know? Yeah, that hermit, shining more light as well. Shining those light. Every time that comes in, every time they start yelling, you shine a little light on them and figure out, why do I feel that way? Why do I feel that way? Asking those questions. A lot of times our emotions come up and they're very irrational, right? And they'll be like, oh, I'm a failure. And you're like, why? What makes me a failure for a simple mistake? I miss one day, therefore I've derailed my 3 years worth of progress? No. It's one day. Thank you for the follow, friend. It's one day. Yeah, getting more into our Queen of Cups. So being like, we had the Queen of Cups already out here. Right? This one right here. Dreams, empathy, imagination, deep feeling, right? Sincere feelings. So remembering that our feelings are valid along the way. It's okay, it's fine. It's okay to have bad days. It's okay to get a little bit, you know, a little sad, feeling a little frustrated. That's fine. That's fine. Everybody does it. That's totally fine. Remembering to take care of yourself along the way. It's alright if we don't get it perfect. It's fine. Perfection's not even real. It's a myth. It doesn't exist. Progress is what's important. Even if it's one toe of progress. What else? Yeah, and that will help you break that cycle. I'm telling you. When you're gentle with yourself along the way, when you remind yourself, no, it's okay. I'm not going to wake up and be perfectly motivated every day, but I should still show up, even if it's a little bit. Thank you for the follows, friend. I have put my yes/no cards away, so I will not be answering those at this time. Yeah, that will help with that cycle. So instead of repeating that same behavior, you will learn how to work through that because you'll be giving yourself more grace. And that's beautiful, as it should be. This is a whole marathon, it's not a race. Yeah, so anytime you do come up against those little bit of delays, we'll be able to handle them better. Because delays will happen, they just do. That's part of life. But instead of letting that derail all of our progress, it'll be like we'll be able to handle it better. And by handling it better, the delays won't last as long. Because now we'll be vibrating at the same frequency of bringing in the goal, because we'll start to feel more confident. It's like, I know that I will still achieve my goal even if I mess up sometimes. That builds your confidence, which pulls in your goals because you're still showing up. Tell me more on what they need to do at this time, Spirit. I don't need to rush because what I want wants me. I just have to keep moving. I can take breaks, I can rest, and it will come when it's meant to. Because I'm putting in the work, therefore I will succeed. And Spirit loves when you do that. The universe loves when you do that. They're like, oh, they're on business. Okay. They're on the same frequency as the thing they want. They're no longer desperately chasing it. They're saying, no, what I want wants me. It's coming to me. And so the universe is like, all right, okay, here you go. Here we go. You do 2 more, yeah. See, I told you. You'll still achieve your result. The victory, the chariot, will still get the result. Because we showed up and we did the work anyway with the Knight of Pentacles. The Knight of Pentacles is the slowest moving knight in the deck, but as long as he's upright, he will always succeed. Now why is that? Because this is the card of discipline. This is the card of the person who shows up and does it anyway. Not necessarily in the energy of, I'm going to show up and I'm going to suffer the whole way through, but they know what they want and they consistently put in the moves to get it. I'll do the last one here before I move into the next part. Last one on what they should do about it. Last one on what they should do about it. Last one. What do they need to do about it at this time? Yeah, it's like you're protected. There was already the gift of protection over your happiness, so it's going to happen. Thank you, Spirit. Yep, the new beginning. There it is. The victory, because you did you showed up, you did the discipline. You had the discipline, and you go get your new beginning. I told you, and you didn't have to do it so hard. It didn't have to be this big, hard, arduous process. So, I'm being called to get into the Oracle advice cards, but before I do, I always put a summarized video onto my TikTok after the lives for people who could not make it, as I'm a night owl and not everybody is. So, you don't have to do anything, you don't have to lift a finger, you don't have to give me anything. I just ask for a moment of patience while I do this quick recap, and then I'll get straight into the Oracle advice cards, and yeah, then we'll release you to the wilds. So, thank you so much for your patience. Give me just a moment. Okay, so that's the recap, and let's get into the Oracle advice cards to see what else they have in store for you. I am feeling, I'm just looking at my decks here, I am feeling D&D. D&D. Hello! So, I like the Oracle advice cards because they seem to just give a little bit more food for thought. A little more food for thought as you progress forward. Hello! Thanks for the follows. Oh my gosh. Tonight's been a little crazy. Let's see. Spirit. Let's ease their fears and soothe their anxieties. Give them some advice, some clarity for their journey forward to help them out so that it's not so confusing. Anybody who sees my face, whether on this current live or later in the video, I ask that you remove some of the burden from their shoulders and let them leave here feeling lighter and with more clarity. So, closing advice from my collective here today regarding the situation around the House of Health and daily routine in Leo. Some advice regarding this situation, please. As I said, your joy and happiness is protected. Thank you for the follow. It's already protected, it's already set in stone, you're already gonna get it. We have this sideways for the fates. Ooh, that's interesting. Here's the fates right here. It's like fate. Ah, I get it. So again, we felt like life is unfair and that we just can't quite get control of things. That's because we have this thing. You're the author of your life. You hold the pen. Okay? There's no, you're not like set in stone. You're not permanently locked into being unconfident, being incapable or any of that, right? That's not a thing. That's not really how that works. You're the one who runs the show. You're the one who calls the shots. So even though we feel like there's somebody here playing a cruel joke on us, that's not the case. Okay? Every time we ignore that part of us that comes up and says, hey, we have an issue here, we're repeating the loop. We're choosing to repeat the loop. Tell me more. Advice for my collective regarding this situation, please. Yeah. We're currently in the void. Right? We're currently in the void and we're hanging out down here. And being in the void is hard. It's dark. We don't really know where we're going. Right? There is a light at the end of the tunnel eventually, but we're kind of just chilling out over here on the outskirts, figuring out, oh, this really sucks. You know, this really sucks. How am I ever gonna get out? But without ever trying to get out, right? Every time we get close, we kind of make a little mistake, and then we go, it's just gonna always be this way, and we go back down. Yes. It's okay to be in the void. Being in the void, there's no path. You just have to follow your intuition. You have to follow your heart, okay? It's okay to go by the seat of your pants. I'm trying my best. I'm gonna just keep working at this, and you will eventually get to the light. If you keep going forward, you will get there. That's all there is. Need more advice? Yeah. Learning, oh man. This card's interesting because it's like learning to laugh. It's learning to laugh at the hard parts. So, even though things may be difficult, even though we run into the obstacles, they're telling you to not take it so serious, right? It's like learning to laugh at it, not taking it so seriously. Again, not feeling like if I have mistakes, I'm a failure, right? The mine and the reversed. Yeah. We need to, whenever we get to the issue, we need to actually look at it. We can't just keep putting it back in the earth and burying it. Yeah. Because it's not gonna, taking it serious and going, and dropping it, and like, you're going to keep redigging it back up. You need to learn to laugh at it. Thank you, Spirit. Yeah, because again, you hold the power here. You're the one with the magic. You're the one running the show. You're the magician. You're trying to call forth this confidence, this power, but every time this little doubt shows up, every time this, I'm actually not that strong, I'm actually not magic, we drop it. And we try to bury it again. And the jester's like, we should laugh at this. We should be like, who told you this lie and why did we take them seriously? Who told you this? Who told you this and why are we listening? You know? Oh, this mistake happened and now we've been kind of thwarted for a week. Oh well, that's fine. It's laughable because I'll still succeed. You can't get in my way. Like, you can try to impede my path, you can trip me, you can, throw all sorts of stuff in my face, but I'm still going to win in the end and I still get the last laugh. You know, that kind of thing. That's kind of what the jester represents. Any other advice for my collective here today regarding this? Oh boy, this one's intense. This is an intense card, isn't it? It's like, it's got the same energy as the Ten of Swords, so it's like you don't need to take it so serious. And I'm not saying that to be dismissive, okay? What I mean is, again, whenever you make a mistake, you decide that that means the whole thing needs to be thrown out. No, it doesn't. It's taking it way too serious. Way too serious. We just need to make some adjustments, okay? Just some adjustments. Thank you, Spirit. Yeah, you're the one on the throne, okay? You're the one on the throne. You're trying to build this confidence because you don't feel like you're worthy of your crown. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? You're alive. Put your crown back on. You're breathing air. Put your crown back on. You're trying to... There are people here who never make any change. They see that their life is hard, and instead of doing anything about it, they just complain. You're doing something about it. You're trying to do something about it. Put your crown on. And stop acting like you don't deserve a crown. What are you talking about? You're putting forth the effort to do something. Therefore, you're already doing something about it. And you deserve your crown. You deserve to remember that you're the one in control. Like, that's the reminder. I'm actively trying to change it. Therefore, I'm doing something about it. There are people who will never change. They really won't. They will stay exactly the same their whole lives. They'll refuse to change. But you're trying. Even if it's hard, even if we have to go back to start 6 million times, you're still trying. So what is there to not feel confident about? Any more advice, Smith? Well, that one fell on the floor. One moment. The book. Yeah, you don't need another book, okay? You don't need another book. You don't need another article. You don't need somebody else to tell you what to do, okay? Whatever plan you're currently doing, whatever changes you're currently making, if you're running into an obstacle, adjust it a little bit. Let the routine fit your life, not you fit around the routine. No. The goal is not to become a whole new person. The goal is to make small adjustments so that you step into your best self. You're not becoming someone entirely new. You're still you. Okay, so the new routine should fit you, not you fit the routine. The mindset was always within you. It was just locked behind a wall. So you're not changing everything about yourself. You're just unlocking what was already there. You feel? Let's do 3 more. 3 more of advice for the collective. Yes, the key. It's already been there. It was already there, and you just needed that little key to unlock the lock. Okay? The key is knowing that you're the one in control. You're the one in the seat. And it's okay to laugh at the problem. It's okay when things happen to not feel like you've messed up and you're not worthy of your crown. No. You tripped a little bit. You don't throw a whole life away just because it's banged up a little. It's still perfectly fine. Nothing wrong with it. It's got a scuff, so... To fix a scuff, you just use a little bit of paste and a towel in order to buff it out. You don't gotta throw the whole shoe away, you know what I mean? Yeah. This talon. So it's like looking for this most important thing. You're looking for it, you're looking for it. That little happiness, we're reaching for it. You're actually looking for it. This little key, this ring, this happiness. The fact that you're searching for it means it's already for you. It's calling to you. It's yours. So it's not gonna miss you. You already had it. Yeah, we're making it too complicated. Get to the simple matter, okay? It has to fit you. Okay? It's not some grading metric. You're not bad because you're not doing it perfect. It's not, no. Progress over perfection always. Perfection is a myth. It's not real. Oh, that's funny. And yeah. We have this issue where we feel like a healing journey or a changing routine is supposed to be perfect rainbows, and it's not going to have growing pains. It's not going to be hard. We're not going to have resistance to it. In order to remove something, in order to remove self-sabotaging behaviors, it's like when an infection spreads. Sometimes you have to cut it off in order to let it grow, like in order to heal it properly, right? Same energy, right? When you're trying to make changes, the part of your brain that prefers things to be comfortable and safe and consistent is going to throw wrenches in your plans because you're trying to make things different. And our brain is not wired for different. It wants everything to be the same, even if it's harmful, because we can predict harmful. Hi, hello. Yes, if we can predict the hurt, we can deal with the hurt. But if it's new, we're scared of it. Even if it's for our best good, it's okay for it to be uncomfortable. It's okay for there to be snags, all right? I'm not saying you could like start completely over. What I'm saying is get rid of the parts that are making it more difficult than it needs to be. Last one, and then I'll release you. Yeah, oh, 2 of them. We're making this a huge problem when it doesn't need to be. There's a call to not make it so big, okay? You don't need it to be huge, and you don't need to be an expert when you're just an apprentice, all right? There's also this feeling that I have to be a master. Just from the start, I have to be an expert. I have to know exactly what I'm doing. I can never fail along the way. I can't make mistakes. I can't learn along the journey. I have to already be done before I've even started. And that's silly. That's silly. What are you doing? In order to become the expert, you must first be the apprentice. Alright? So remember that as you're making this journey, no, you're not stuck. You're not stuck. You're not going to be that way forever. You're the one who writes the narrative, okay? We don't need to take it so serious. It's going to be hard. That's the point. We're trying to make change. Change is never comfortable. If your change is comfortable, you're not changing. Okay? Point blank period. You have the power to do it. What you want wants you. If you want more confidence, if you are inspired by confident people, that means that you yourself are confident. That is within you, and you just need to figure out how to unlock it. Okay? We don't need to make it so complicated. It's going to be a little uncomfy. There's going to be growing pains as we learn. We might fall down and scrape our knee, but that's fine. It's okay. It doesn't have to be a huge deal, and you don't have to be perfect along the way. Okay? So, that's all I have for you today. Thank you for your time, for your energy, for choosing me to be your reader today. I really appreciate you guys for being here. If you're interested in any personals, I offer those at the link in my bio. It's not clickable yet. I don't have 1,000 followers just yet, but that's where I provide those services, okay? If you're watching this from the YouTube, when I post it later, it'll be in the description box down below. Feel free to check it out and see if I vibe with you. If I don't, and this is the last time I see you, thank you again for choosing me and hanging out with me tonight. I wish you so much love, luck, joy, abundance, peace, happiness, healing, all of it. Along your journey. Please remember that life is an ever crooked path and you are never off of it, okay? And if you have chosen to follow me, you do like my vibe, thank you, you're amazing. I wish all the same for you. And yeah, I can't wait to see you in the next one. Bye!